guys, it's Will with Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society, and I'm here today with a review of the 88 Films Blu-ray release of the much underappreciated classic 1989 Jackie Chan film Miracles, The Canton Godfather. This is also known as, I think, Black Dragon. It's also known as Mr. Canton and Lady Rose. It has, I think, at least 4 titles. So I'm going to walk you through the physical aspects of this release, because I know that people who collect Blu-rays and DVDs and things of that nature are really into that, and they like to see what's what and what they're getting. I'm going to talk about the film itself and the presentation thereof, and then I will talk about the bonus features. So we have here a slipcase with brand new artwork by Kung Fu Bob, which is what he goes by. His name is R.P. O'Brien, and I love his artwork. And I discovered him through Instagram because, you know, we on Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society were really active on Instagram, and I mean, the detail of his artwork and it's just freaking incredible, and it reminds me of like those amazing 80s, like 70s and 80s hand drawn movie posters, and I guess even going back to the 60s, like if you like some stuff for like Kurosawa films and stuff like that. But I mean, the contemporary thing that it reminded me the most of is the Stranger Things artwork. Not that it looks like that in style, but that ridiculous amount of detail and the clarity of the colors, and it's really freaking phenomenal. And so you get that slipcase with the first run. I think there's 3,000 copies in the first run. I might be wrong about that. Don't cite me on that. But the slipcase here is only for the first run. As I said in my review of the Protector Blu-ray, right here, there's a little cutout of the slipcase, and you can just kind of poke your finger or a key or a knife in or whatever and unwrap the whole thing. It's because it's all wrapped in plastic, and that way you don't have to worry about damaging the slipcase. And that, like, I like a lot of things about this release, but in terms of just like the innovation of something I've never seen before on a Blu-ray release, that's really freaking cool. And I was really, it's so simple, but I was like, why have I never seen that before? Anyway, maybe, I mean, there might be other companies that do it, but I'm unfamiliar. Okay, so let's bust this out. As I said before, again with my Protector review, this is really incredible plastic. It's really strong. It's really durable. It's got, especially around the edges, it feels like it's reinforced. So there's no bending or like give at all when you kind of play with the case. Here's the disc. I just got this great picture of Jackie with his little gangster hat on. And as with the other releases from 88 Films, it's reversible cover art. So here you have, I think this is like an original Hong Kong poster over here, and then it's got the same kind of information for the back cover. But I'm just going to slide that back in here. And then the booklets. The booklets for these are really incredible. And the booklets also, I think, like the slipcase, are just for the first run of the Blu-ray. And like I said, I think it's 3,000 copies. This is a Region B release, if I didn't say that already. So what that means is 88 Films is located in the UK. Region B is Europe. So if you have any standard commercial European Blu-ray player, this will play for you just fine. In the US or in Asia and I think Latin America, Canada, like other markets like that, you'll need a region-free Blu-ray player or multi-region DVD player, whatever it is. Which are honestly not that expensive. I've spoken about them in videos before. Actually, I spoke about it in a video maybe a week or two ago, and I've gotten several people on Instagram asking in the comments, is there anything you would recommend or what should I look for in these players? I'm not an expert on them, but I found some really good online resources, so I've been DMing those to people, so I can do that if you're interested. I actually just bought a brand new region-free multi-region player because mine was getting pretty old. It's an LG, and there's a company called 220 Electronics that makes them, basically. So they like modify the software in existing Blu-ray players so that they will be multi-region. They do like a lot of Sony and LG stuff. So here's the booklet, and there's a couple different things in here that are interesting. There are profiles of all the members of like the Jackie Chan stunt team slash like regular cast. So there's Mars here, and Mars is actually in the Protector as well. And a couple like there were some, you know, Jackie is really well known for doing his own stunts, but there are some stunts that he didn't do for whatever reason. I don't know if they were too dangerous, insurance wouldn't let them do it or whatever. But there's a stunt in the Protector where he jumps onto a helicopter from a boat as something is exploding, and he didn't do that stunt. Mars did that for him. And again, I don't know why that is. It might be an insurance thing. It might be that it was just too dangerous. So here's like other, I think Ken Lo is in here, who's really well known for being like a martial artist and a stuntman in Jackie's movies. And then there's an essay, and there's tons and tons of behind the scenes stuff. And like posters and things like that, and that we did an over the shoulder like close up unboxing of this that we'll also post soon, so you'll get to see all this stuff up close and personal. Old Way of the Dragon: Inspiration, Techniques, and the Making of Miracles by Scott Harrison is the essay that's in here, so that's definitely worth checking out. And so to get into the presentation of the film, Miracles is an interesting film. It's an incredibly well made film, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But it's made in an old style of filmmaking, and so if you're familiar with like old epics that are super widescreen, and I don't know a ton about the technical aspects of this, but if you look at movies like Lawrence of Arabia, or if you look at like Bridge on the River Kwai, right, which I think those are both David Lean. The lenses that they use and the way that the shots are framed, and Sergio Leone did this too. Um, and you can even see this like in contemporary films, like in The Hateful Eight, like Tarantino does this, where you have such wide presentation. There's so much information in the screen that it's almost hard to process it all at once visually. And so with a film like The Protector, it's a very kind of like Hollywood style filmmaking of like medium close up shots, and like it's very easy to see everything. And so when you go from like a VHS or a DVD copy of that movie to like the 2K remaster, and this is a 4K remaster as well from the original film prints. When you go from the crappy copies to the really good copies, it's so obvious. With this film, the beauty of and it's an incredible transfer. I'm just gonna say that up front, but to get into it, the beauty of it is in the details, and you have to settle into the film to really see it. But once you settle into the film, it's really mind blowing. There's a famous shot in this film. It's a crane shot, and it starts in this courtyard, and it goes up across the face of this building. To like a top floor apartment, and you see through windows, and there's like family eating dinner on one of the windows, and there's all this kind of background action in the courtyard. You know, like I think like a rickshaw or a bicycle something arrives, and there's like people eating and somebody walking up like a ramp. The amount of detail that you can see and that's so clearly delineated in this remaster in that shot is just incredible, and it's like a profound re-experience of this film where it really feels like you are in that space. You can see like moisture on the walls, like maybe it rained recently, which I hadn't seen when I saw this movie on DVD. The family eating dinner that the camera kind of moves past, just the way that the details in the room that they're in, the way it's lit, it's just incredible. And the scenes in the hotel, there's very famous series of sequences in this film that take place in a big hotel. The hotel has a lot of really bold colors. There's like red, gold, stuff like that. The scenes in there look incredible. The colors are so pristine, and they don't bleed into each other at all. And it really is like once you settle into watching this film, the transfer is really astounding. So, and I'm a huge fan of this film too. So this is like a great gift to me to be able to watch this film in this definition. So the bonus features. There aren't as many bonus features on here as there are on the other recent 88 films Jackie Chan releases, which are The Protector and Crime Story. So what you have on here is, well, you do have the international cut, and I'm going to do a different video where I talk about the differences between the Hong Kong cut and the international cut, but there are significant differences because the Hong Kong cut of this movie is 127 minutes and the international cut is 107 minutes. So 20 minutes of the movie is just gone. So there's like the double-sided artwork, like I said, but the thing there are two things that I really liked about the bonus features on here. There's a teaser trailer it's pretty long, that was released in Hong Kong that has footage from like Project A2, maybe Project A or Project A2, like Police Story, like these classic Jackie Chan movies, and it's like, you know, he almost killed himself on Project A, and his stunt work became incredible on Police Story 2, and he defied death on, you know, like it really builds up to, and then it's like, and now he's going great lengths to bringing you old classic Hollywood style filmmaking in Hong Kong, and it shows him like operating the Steadicam, and it shows him like working with the crane rig, and it shows him setting up these complicated shots, and it's like really, really cool, like fly on the wall behind the scenes footage that was really great to see. And then there's the kind of like the treasure for me of the bonus features here is something called Jackie Chan Film Director. And this is with a guy named Steve Lawson, who I think makes films on his own, but is also like a Jackie Chan kind of like historian / film scholar. And he basically makes the case, and I talked a little bit about this in my Why I Like This Movie episode on Miracles, and how Jackie uses like a lot of really incredible filmmaking techniques on this movie, and it's like a really good film. It's not just a really fun martial arts action comedy. He talks about how he believes that if you watch Jackie Chan's films, especially starting with the um, like Project A2, Police Story 2, leading into this film, and then you compare them to stuff like Dragons Forever that Jackie was in that was coming out around the same time, you can see that Jackie was actually developing an auteur style. And that Jackie, from having been on film sets his whole life, basically, and having learned so many aspects of filmmaking, he understood lighting, he understood editing, he understood cinematography, he understood script writing. Obviously, all of the performing aspects, like he could do the stunts, he could do the martial arts, he could do the acting. Um, that unique skill set is almost impossible. I mean, obviously Sammo Hung has the same skill set, right? But like, other than Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung, really, no one in the history of cinema has ever had that same skill set. And that's what made Jackie so unique as a filmmaker, and that's what makes this film so incredible. And then he talks about kind of why Jackie stopped directing so many films. And it's really interesting. I don't want to give you all the information in this video because I think you should go and buy this because this is really awesome and it's a great film. But it's probably more interesting to hear him talk about it because I'm just someone who watched a bonus feature, and he is like a Jackie Chan kind of like scholar, historian, whatever you want to call it. So his insight, I would say, is more profound than any insight that I could offer you just based off of watching his video. The other thing that I think is really interesting about this that I want to mention just briefly is that there are two Cantonese audio tracks that you can choose. And so I watched the film for about, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes, and then I switched audio tracks, and then I switched back. And what's really interesting is that the mixing is different. And it's not necessarily that like one is this profound, clear 5.1 and one is like a mono soundtrack. It's the levels of different aspects of the sound design are different. So to give you an example of this, the scene in which I switched from one language track to another is the scene where Jackie first meets the whole kind of like criminal gang. And if you're unfamiliar with that scene, there's a bunch of people in a room and they're like playing cards, they're drinking, they're talking, and then Jackie comes into the room. In the one of the audio tracks, the dialogue is really high up. And it's really focused on the dialogue, and there's not a lot of background noise. In the other one, the background noise is mixed up, and so it sounds like you can hear the glasses clinking of the people drinking, and you can hear like a lot of background chatter and like cards being shuffled around and chairs moving, and it's a very different ambiance. So it's really cool to have both of those aspects of the film and just kind of be able to watch it any way that you want to watch it. And one of the things I really love about recent Blu-ray releases of these classic films is that they present you with a lot of options for how you want to watch the movie. And so, like for instance, the international cut of this has the English dub on it. So, I have young kids, and one of my sons is just kind of coming into his appreciation of Jackie. He's 2.5. Okay, but we watched Jackie. We watched I think 30 minutes of Wheels on Meals before he got bored. Obviously, he gets bored easily because he's young, but he really liked it, and he talks about Jackie Chan, and he'll say like, "Dada, Jackie Chan," or whatever. And so, obviously he can't read subtitles. He's not going to be able to read subtitles for a really long time and keep up with the film. So I love having the English dub in addition to, obviously I much prefer the original language track version. So those options are really cool, and it's really cool that these companies are presenting you with so many options. So this is the 88 films release of Miracles. I think it runs about £15 in the UK, which is I think around $20, $19-20, depending on the exchange rate. My name is Will. You've been watching Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. As with The Protector, I highly recommend this release. It's really fantastic. Obviously, I've been giving it a glowing review. We will see you next time.